What are things that people are ashamed of but shouldn't be ashamed of? I'm teaching my kids that owning up to mistakes and saying you're sorry is what makes you a grown-up. This also shows them that some old people never grew up. I therefore also always tell them when I was wrong and apologize to them when that happens. Sorry I accused you of making a mess outside. I just found out it was the kid next door. I was wrong, and I feel bad about it. If my mother had ever said that, I would have so much more respect for her and more trust. I am down 70 pounds, and a large part of that has been an amazing gym. They put a routine on the board, and then the trainers spot you and help modify exercises if you can't do it or have an injury to account for. I am by far the weakest in the class. When I started, I decided to just live my truth. I'm fat and weak and want to be better. I am fairly certain that my bad emotions are stored in the fat because I feel like every pound lost I have to deal with whatever emotion I originally ate. More than once a trainer has asked me, "Are you crying because you're hurt or frustrated?" Me colon. I don't even know. It was really very hard to be that vulnerable around other people. But turns out fit people are people too, and they're really nice. 10 out of 10 would recommend. When I had my first big step to losing weight, the gym I went to was like effing prison. Every dude in there looked like all they did was lift. And for a lot of them, it was true. I would literally see them in there every day for some. Needless to say, I was pretty embarrassed at first, but over time, some of them would say, "What's up?" and recognize me. There were others I got to know pretty well. One guy even ran a nutrition store up the street and helped me with a few supplements I decided to try. I even talked to one of them about them laughing at people at the gym, and he told me that the only time that happens is when someone in there who is ripped and trying to excessively show off and/or doing exercises completely wrong. I was lucky to have a roommate who was in super good shape and helped me along for the first 6 months, until I had the confidence to go by myself. It's good to have a welcoming environment at a gym, whether it's a friend or a trainer that actually gives a shit. Keep the faith and keep up the good work. Receiving help from others. Many of us, generous and always ready to help. But we have a hard time being on the receiving end. Edit. Thank you everyone for the comments and for the nice awards. My family made me feel horrible when asking for help growing up. They'd literally call me a dumbass, stupid, asking dumb questions. How about you pay attention in class? Zerania, attention seeking, and just straight up insult me for even thinking I needed help. Sometimes they wouldn't even answer me verbally. They'd just roll their eyes or sigh or shake their heads and ignore me. I literally was treated like an idiot for asking questions and asking for help. And I was a child. I'm 23 now and still struggle with asking questions or for help when I need it. It's yet another cycle I'm going to break. Hurting children simply for being curious children and asking for help or asking questions. There's no reason why they had to hurt me simply for asking for help with my math homework. The only excuse I can come up with is their pride not allowing them to say they can't help me because they didn't understand it themselves. Edit. Got lots of replies, and of course it's the one time I'm busy, so couldn't reply to any. I apologize for that. But since I gotta work bright and early tomorrow, I'm gonna gone, eat, maybe play some Sims, and let this do its Reddit thing. All I must say is we can definitely agree that shaming a kid for curiosity is a dick move, and to not be the same assholes we had growing up. That's all I got to say, so if you're in the Midwest, good night. As for everyone else, good morning, afternoon, evening, day. A disability, I've got no personal issues with it except for the obvious. People seem to act differently when hearing it though, and that can suck. I had broke a molar one time a few years back and couldn't find a dentist willing to do the work to fix it, as I had 5 or 6 seizures one day, supposedly caused by dental work years ago. It took nearly 2 years of living with a broken molar, and a bit of a breakdown to the receptionist for anything to happen. Bosses and co-workers seem to act differently too, but usually with the intent to come of more caring, etc. Usually makes things awkward. A kid in my daughter's class has epilepsy. The first time his mom dropped him off at our house for a birthday party, she gave us almost a disclaimer about his epilepsy and told us he hadn't had a seizure in a long time. She also said some parents feel uncomfortable having him at their houses because of his epilepsy. I felt bad that a kid has possibly not been included in fun events with his friends in the past because of something completely out of his control. Yeah, I wasn't allowed over to most of my friends' houses because the parents were terrified, which is understandable as an adult. But when you're a kid, you feel like a total freak, not being good at something that they just started to learn. I'm like that. Trying to learn the harmonica, and I'm too embarrassed to practice when anyone else is around. Really daft. Edit. Thanks for all the upvotes and comments. A few people below asking what resources I use. I've bought a Udemy course by Ben Hewlett, which is good. Don't pay full price for Udemy courses. They are nearly always offers and sales. I've got a couple of books, Harmonica for Dummies and the excellent Rock and Blues Harmonica by John Gindick from 1982, bought for me as a gift by a friend. It has a long list of commercially released albums and which key each track is so you can try and play along with them. Also, YouTube videos, there are loads. What I really need to do now is start practicing. Me learning to play guitar currently. I hate to play when my husband is around, even though we both decided to learn guitar. He grew up playing bass, so even though he doesn't really know how to play guitar, he took a class in high school and remembered a few things on guitar. I'm so embarrassed practicing. Edit. Thank you everyone for your kind words. I've never experienced so much support like this before. My husband is being extremely supportive of learning, so I'm so lucky to have him there. Stay safe, everyone. Going to community college. I rescinded an offer to go to an out-of-state school because it would have cost me $160,000. By the time I rescinded the offer, the only school that I could apply and get accepted by the fall was community college. I was ashamed since I was an honor student in high school and should go to a real college, and all my other friends were going to real colleges. But I enjoyed my time at community college, and I graduated with my bachelor's in 2 years. I've also just completed my master's. Don't let other people's opinions stop you, especially if they aren't paying your bills. Mental illness. I think this is a really important one. When talking about depression, a friend of mine said, if someone opened up to him about being depressed, he'd hit him on the arm and just say, "What do you have to be depressed about? You live in a very wealthy and developed country with no worries. Why would you be depressed?" Kind of made me think again about talking to people, and it makes life harder. Came to say this. So sad that people even hide when they are getting help. Judged by family members for medications and therapy, because as strong people don't get depressed. Women in their age, no one gives a fuck. Some chicks are 30 and some chicks are 40, and some chicks are 50, and some chicks are 60. Hell, some chicks are fucking 70. No one cares! Women have always been told by the world around them that they're most valuable when they're young, beautiful, and pretty. They are worthy when they are desirable. Blame our over-sexualized society for this one, in which girls as young as 10 years old start to realize they have to look a certain way. Almost all of them start to get insecurities about their looks when they're literal children. I've talked about this with my female friends a lot, and they all share this sentiment. Many women, consciously or not, fear that they lose some kind of value when they get older because, in general, we only celebrate youthful women. Men are allowed to get older, women aren't. And trust me, I've read a lot of angry men of the internet who feel this way, saying women age like milk and shit. It's very disturbing and sad. So, yes, a lot of people do care. Liking kids, TV shows, the sock films, lots of them are kid-friendly but still entertaining for adults. Gravity Falls as an example. Star Wars, The Clone Wars. Laughs in gray area in between kids show and adult show. On one side, it's labeled for kids as it's rated PG and is animated on the other side. You've got the following. In the show, friendly fire mass genocide, multiple accounts of decapitation, torture, sometimes to death, alien lizards, aka Trandotians, hunting other sentient beings as sport, lots and lots of death parents being murdered mercilessly in front of their children, and suicide bombings, complicated politics and bank deregulation, mild swearing in the early seasons. Oh, did I mention this show is fucking great? Working a low-paying job. Someone who works hard at a low-paying or low-skilled job is nothing to be ashamed about. One has to make a living, at least they are doing honest, legal work, and aren't trying to leech off of the government. This reminds me of when some woman ended up trying to shame former actor Jeffrey Owens for working at Trader Joe's. It ended up backfiring when the public showered him with support, and he even landed an acting role from a big-name director. Edit. Seems like some people misunderstood my message. I am not shaming people who need government assistance. I was merely saying nothing wrong with working a job when you have the option. I would like to point out that you are shaming those on benefits. Those benefits exist for a reason, to help those either out of work survive until they find a new job, or help those who are too ill to work. As one of the latter, I resent the implementation that I should be ashamed for having debilitating epilepsy and depression. Not everyone who uses the government benefits are trying to cheat the system. Share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more stories.